Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we discussed the seventh chapter. Uh, and in the seventh chapter, we discussed how Ashwatthama he shot an arrow to kill the embryo within the womb of Uttara. Uttara came running to Krishna and asking for protection. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpati. Please protect me, O Supreme Lord. And Krishna appeared in the womb of Uttara and protected the womb, the embryo, Parikshit Maharaj. Then Ashwatthama was arrested by Arjuna, and he was brought in front of Draupadi. And then there was a huge discussion, which was argument going on. Draupadi was telling, "Please leave him. He's the son of a Brahmana. Dronacharya has taught you everything." But Bhima was not ready for that. He was telling to kill. And then ultimately Arjuna could understand the heart of Krishna. Arjuna sahasa gyaya harer hardam mathasina manim jahar murdhanyam dvijasya saha murdhajam. Arjuna could understand the heart of Krishna. Therefore what he did, he severed the jewel and the hair from the head of Ashwatthama. He did not kill him, because that is the prescribed punishment for a Brahmana. Brahmana should not be killed physically. And then after that, the Pandavas and Draupadi, they performed the last rites for the dead relatives. So that was the seventh chapter. Eighth chapter, which is entitled The Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. So now, actually Uttara comes after this, so there was some. So Uttara comes in this chapter. Before that, Arjuna, because Ashwatthama had killed the 5 sons of Draupadi. That's why Arjuna came to, arrest, and he arrested Ashwatthama. So now in the 8th chapter, Sudha Goswami continues that, Pandavas, after they performed the last rites, they gave the water for all the dead relatives, and then they went to Ganga. Ganga is the foot wash of Supreme Lord. And since time immemorial, people, they go and take bath in Ganga to purify themselves, because Ganga is so very pure that Ganga is mixed with the dust from the feet of Krishna. It is described in the 18th chapter. It will come the glorification of Ganga. Yavai Lashashri Tulasi Vimishra Krishna Ngrirenum Abhyadikambu Punati Lokan Ubhayatra Seshan Kastam Na Sevet Marishyamanaha. So Ganga, the water of the Ganga is containing the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, and it is mixed with the tulasi which is offered at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So that's why Ganga is supremely pure, purifying. So all the Pandavas, they went and they performed the purificatory rituals in Ganga. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj, after all this war, in which thousands and thousands and lakhs of soldiers were killed, Yudhishthir, being a very kind-hearted Vaishnava, he was not happy. Already Yudhishthir was so very overwhelmed because his sons were killed, and then he became all the more disturbed, thinking that I am the cause of the killing of all these soldiers. So therefore, when Krishna came to know this, Krishna and all the great sages, they assembled and they were pacifying Yudhishthir Maharaj. Santvayamas munibhir hatabandhun shucharpitan bhuteshu kalasya gatim darshayanna pratikriyam. Santvayamas munibhir. All the sages, they began to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj, because Yudhishthir Maharaj was Shucharpitan. He was so very distressed because he was thinking, I am the cause of killing of all my soldiers, all my relatives. In the beginning of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna became bewildered. After the war, Yudhishthir Maharaj became bewildered. So all the sages and Krishna themselves, himself, he comes to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj. Darshayan na pratikriyan. What they did? They cited the laws of nature, and Prabhupada focuses on this. Darshayan na pratikriyan. He writes in the purport that the stringent laws of the Supreme Lord cannot be altered by any living entity. Everyone in this world is under the subjugation of the Supreme Lord. Nobody can tell, oh, I didn't know this. Ignorance is no excuse to escape the reaction. Vidura also tells Dhritarashtra, it will come in the 13th chapter, when Vidura comes back and he sees Dhritarashtra is still in the palace. He tells, O king, Supreme Lord has come in the form of time and he has destroyed all your children. You cannot do anything to retaliate. Pratikriyana yasyeha kutaschit karhichit prabho saesh bhagavan kala sarvesham na samagatah. Supreme Lord has come in the form of Kala. So therefore all the sages and Krishna, they were trying to pacify. So such type of instructions, they are very, very important. When somebody is suffering, somebody is in calamity, the instructions of the scriptures, they are the greatest hope. One can tolerate and be pacified in the midst of all the calamities when he is in touch with Shastra and he is in association of devotees. So if somebody is regularly reading the scriptures and if somebody is in association of devotees, then the sufferings become tolerable. So therefore Krishna and all the sages, they came and they were trying to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj. Sadhaitva jata shatro swayam rajyam kitavairitam ghatayitva vasato ragya kachasparsha shatayushah. So, Ajata Shatros, Yudhishthir Maharaj, his kingdom was usurped by Duryodhan. As a result of that, and also Draupadi was insulted. As a result of all these things, Duryodhan and all his allies, they were destroyed. It was all done by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada in the purport, he describes that 5 types of living entities should always be protected. Brahmanas, cows, women, children, and old men. These 5 people should always be protected. Brahmana should be protected because they maintain the Varna and Ashrama. Varnashram system is maintained by Brahmanas. The cows should be protected because they give milk, miracle food. The women should be protected because if the women is chaste, then the society will flourish. That was the doubt of Arjuna. Strishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha. That's what he said. Women should be protected, otherwise, unwanted progeny will be born. Children should be protected because children should be taught how to come out of the bondage of birth and death. And old men should be protected so that they can prepare themselves for a future journey. But Prabhupada writes, in current civilization, it is just a civilization of polished cats and dogs. Very heavy, Prabhupada is writing. Because in this current civilization, modern civilization, nobody is taught about the spiritual culture. Everybody is just after enjoying sensual pleasures. So Sud Goswami continues that Krishna, he caused Yudhishthir Maharaj to perform 3 Ashwamedh Yagya, and by that, the fame of Yudhishthir Maharaj spread all over the universe. Actually, he became as famous as Indra. That is the power of being a devotee. Indra, although he performed 100 sacrifices and he became Shakra. Shakra means Shatakratu. Manu performed 100 Ashwamedh Yagya, Shata. Yudhishthira Maharaj just performed 3. But still, his fame was as good as the fame of Indra. Prabhupada writes in the purport. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj was a pure devotee of Krishna, therefore he was on the level of the king of heaven. This is a special prerogative which Krishna gives to his devotees. Krishna wants his devotees to be glorified even more than himself. And the whole next chapter is about that. How Krishna wants to glorify Bhishma Dev. So that's the glory of Krishna. Krishna always wants to glorify his devotees. So therefore, it is Prabhupada writes in the purport that Lord is equal to everyone, but a devotee of the Lord is more glorified. So therefore, the mercy of the Lord is available for everybody. It depends on our capacity. What is our patra? Just like if in a festival day, the feast is prepared, in the COVID times, it is like long time, So feast is prepared in the temple. Yeah, feast is still getting prepared, but the devotees are not able to come. So generally when the devotees, they come and they come for feast, if they have a small plate, they will get only that much of the sweet. If somebody has a bigger plate, bigger patra, it is a common observation, right? If somebody gets a small glass for Charnamrit, he'll get only that much. If he gets a big glass, generally the person who is giving is obliged to fill the glass. So therefore, the patra, it depends on the patra, how much qualified we are to receive the mercy. Prabhupada, he told once, I am giving mercy to everybody, but some person takes advantage of it. One devotee told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, please give your mercy so that I can follow your instructions. Prabhupada said, my mercy is that I am giving you instructions. Now it is your responsibility to follow that. And he gave an example. If a person has fallen in the well and the rope is thrown in the well, and then he cannot tell, oh, let my fingers curl around the rope. No, he has to make the conscious effort to catch the rope. So the mercy is there flowing for everyone. It depends on our capacity, our patra. And our patra is Trinadapi Sunichena. The more humble we are, the more we'll receive the mercy of the Lord. So after everything is done, Lord was about to depart for Dwarka. And as he was preparing for his departure, Uttara, she approaches. Krishna was just sitting in the chariot, is about to leave. Uttara, she comes running. Pahi pahi mahayogin devadeva jagatpate nanyam tvad abhayam pashye yatra mrityu parasparam. Pahi pahi mahayogi, O Supreme Lord, Lord of the Lords, Lord of the universe, Devadev Jagatpate, please protect me. Pahi pahi. Nanyam tod abhayam pashya. I do not see anybody else who can relieve me from this anxiety. Nobody can save me in this situation. Only you can do it. Because she realized that a Brahmastra is coming to kill my womb. So what had happened was, after Arjuna arrested Ashwathama, Ashwathama had killed the 5 sons of Draupadi. Arjuna arrested Ashwathama, chastised him, threw him out of the camp, but he did not still, accept that defeat. He released 6 Brahmastras again. One Brahmastra was coming towards the womb of Uttara, and 5 others were coming on each an individual Pandava. So that's how Ashwathama wanted to kill entire Pandava race. So Uttara could see that this Brahmastra is coming. He says, "Oh my lord, this fiery iron arrow is coming towards me to kill my womb. Let it burn me, but it should not burn my embryo." Prabhupada writes a very nice line in the purport. He says, Uttara was a daughter of a great king, wife of a great hero, and student of a great devotee. And later she became the mother of a good king also. So in this way, Uttara was fortunate in every respect. So Uttara was a daughter of Virat king. She was the wife of Abhimanyu. She was the student of Arjuna. Arjuna taught her in all this dancing and other skills. And then she became the mother of Parikshit Maharaj. So that's how she was fortunate in every respect. Prabhupada writes about Devahuti also similarly in the 3rd canto. He writes that she was daughter of a great king Swayambhuva Manu. She was a wife of a great devotee Kardam Muni, and she became the mother of Supreme Lord Kapila. So Sud Goswami continues that when Supreme Lord he heard such a request from Uttara, he understood that okay, now what he has done, Ashwathama has thrown another Brahmastra. So Krishna is called as Bhakta Vatsala. He cannot tolerate his devotee suffering. So seeing the Brahmastra which was glaring coming towards the Pandavas, they took their weapons. Vyasanam vikshitattesham ananya vishayatmanam sudarshanena swastrena swanam raksham vyadhad vibhu. So now you know what happened. So actually Arjuna, he released 5 separate Brahmastras for each of the Pandavas. And it was difficult for Pandavas to counteract these 5 Brahmastras. So what Krishna did, Krishna he understood. So he is Ananya Vishayatmanam. The devotees of the Lord who are unalloyed, they are only thinking of Krishna. Krishna is always ready to protect them from all the danger. So what he did, he invoked Sudarshan Chakra and he destroyed at once the Brahmastras. All the 5 Brahmastras, they were counteracted by Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Actually, according to the vow, Krishna should not have taken the weapon, because technically speaking, the battle was still, it was the 18th day of battle. It was almost finished, but still, he should not have taken the weapons. But for it, Krishna, his devotees are always priority. He is Bhakt Vatsal. He does not care to, follow his vow if his devotee is in danger. For Krishna, protection of his devotee is more important than maintaining his own vow. That is the only vow which he follows, protecting his devotee. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. This is the only vow he follows. He is ready to give up all the other vows to fulfill and follow only one vow of protecting his devotees. And Krishna can do anything. In Damodar Leela, we see that Krishna, he had a plan for whole day. Okay, I want to go there, I want to steal butter from that house, and I want to play with my friends whole day. And then Mother Yashoda is trying to bind him. So Krishna's Vibhuti Shakti is coming in picture and not allowing Krishna to be bound. But when Krishna, he saw his mother struggling so much, Swamatu Swinna Gatraya Visrishta Kavarasraja Drishtva Parishramam Krishnam Kripaya Asit Swabandhani. When he saw his mother is struggling so much, the mercy potency came up, and Krishna allowed himself to be bound. Krishna is ready to give up all his vow, all his commitments to please his devotee. That is how Krishna is. So Krishna immediately, he invoked his Sudarshan Chakra and he destroyed all the Brahmastras. He covered the embryo by his own internal potency, as it is described. Although Brahmastra is not so easy to counteract, but in front of Krishna's energy, all the other energies, they are insignificant. Although Brahmastra was amogha, irresistible, but Sudarshana destroyed that very easily. So therefore, Sud Goswami tells, so Brahmanas, do not think that this is especially wonderful that Krishna destroyed Brahmastra very easily. Because Krishna maintains and creates and highlights this entire universe. What is this Brahmastra for him? So then again, now he is leaving, after he protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara. It will be described in great detail in the 12th chapter that Parikshit Maharaj, he saw small Krishna in the womb. He saw Supreme Lord in the womb. Angushtamatram amalam subrata puratamaulinam apivya darshanam shyamam taditavasa samachyutam. He saw Krishna of the size of a thumb, having a helmet. And he was circumambulating around Parikshit, protecting him with Gada in his hand. So that's how, Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj. And then again, now he was about to leave. Now again, Kunti Maharani comes. And Kunti Maharani is such a great devotee of the Lord. She comes and she very lovingly starts praying to Krishna. And then now in this 8th chapter, the beautiful, beautiful series of prayers of Kunti Maharani is coming now. Wonderful prayers are offered by Kunti Maharani as Supreme Lord is leaving for Dwarka. And she tells that, oh Krishna, you are not my nephew. You are Supreme Lord. Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishvara Prakrite Param Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravasthitam Namasye Purusham Tvadyam. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, Ishvara Prakrite Param. You are Ishvara, you are beyond material nature. Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam, and you are invisible to all the living entities. Antar Bahiravastitam. Antar Bahiravastitam means you are both within and without everything. So, just give me 1 second. Sorry. She's saying you are invisible to all. Alakshyam sarva bhutanam antar bahiravastitam. Yet you are existing within and without everything. So although, Kunti, she was such a great devotee and she understood that, oh, now Krishna is going. So she was not able to tolerate the separation. And therefore she developed such a great respect. So she is telling, Namasye, I offer my obeisances. So Krishna may say, but I am your nephew. Why are you offering respects to me? Kunti says, no, no, you are not my nephew. You are the Supreme Lord, Purusham. Krishna may say, of course I am a man, Purusham. There is no doubt about that. Kunti says, Are, you are Adyam. You are Adyam Purusham. You are the first Purusha. Krishna may say, well, all the souls are eternal. It is not that I am only eternal. All the living entities are eternal. She says, no, no, no. You are Ishvara. You are supreme. Krishna may tell, okay, in Swarga, there is Indra, there is Chandra, there is Varuna. They are all Ishwaras. Kunti says, no, you are Prakrite Param. You are the Supreme Lord beyond the material existence. All these controllers, Indra, Chandra, Surya, and all the Devatas, they are under the material nature. You are beyond. So Krishna may say, okay, that means I am imperceptible Paramatma. He says, no, 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 no. You are Alakshyam, therefore you are not understandable by people in general. You are inside and outside of everyone. Krishna may say, Array, if I am inside and outside of everybody, then why nobody is approaching me? Why people are not approaching me? Maya Javanika Channam Agyadhokshajam Avyayam Nalakshase Mudadrisha Nato Natya Dharo Yatha. Kunti Maharani tells, you know why people don't approach you? Because you are covered by your Maya Shakti. There is a curtain of Yoga Maya which is covering you, just like the sun is covered by a cloud. You are covered by Yoga Maya. Actually, the cloud is not covering the sun. Cloud is covering the vision of the people on the earth. So Yogamaya is not covering you. Yogamaya is covering the vision of the living entities. Agyadhokshajam avyayam. You are beyond the range of sense perception. Adhokshaja. Akshaja means senses. Adhokshaja means beyond the perception of the senses. You are beyond the perception of the senses. Nalakshase mudadrisha. Therefore, you are invisible to those who are foolish. Nato natya dharo yatha. Just like an actor plays, he's dressed in a different way. People cannot understand, oh, this is that same person. Similarly, when you come in this world, people cannot understand you. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mama mudha manushim tanumashritam. People who are foolish, they cannot understand me. Only the great sages can understand. Not everybody can understand. Prabhupada writes in the purport, there is a class of men with demoniac mentality who are reluctant to accept Krishna to be Supreme Lord. Only because of poor fund of knowledge and obstinacy, people cannot accept Krishna to be Supreme. So Kunti in this verse, she's telling you are covered by Maya. You are covered by a curtain of Maya. Krishna may tell, then Maya is covering me also? She says, no, 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 no. It is like a fool who thinks that the cloud is covering the sun. Cloud is not covering the sun. Similarly, Maya is not covering you, it is just covering the vision of the people in general. Krishna may tell, but you are seeing me directly, right? You are praising me. Why you are calling yourself as an ignorant? Nalakshase mooda drisha. Why you are calling yourself as an ignorant? Nato natya dharo yatha. Kunti Mana tells, just like if any of you have seen South Indian dance, Odissi dance, or Bharatnatyam, they make so many of the hand movements and facial gestures. A person who is not aware of the nuances of these gestures and the hand movements, they will not appreciate. Similarly, you know, you are not appreciated by those who do not know about you. So therefore, I am considering myself as ignorant. Therefore, although I am seeing you, I actually cannot see you. I am really confused about your activities. She tells, though you protect Pandavas and you personally destroyed the weapon Brahmastra, and though you promised not to use weapon, still you are using a weapon. You took a weapon. You have taken a vow to protect the righteous, but you destroyed Bhishma, who was very righteous. You are affectionate to Draupadi, but you allowed the sons of Draupadi to be killed. I am really confused about your pastimes. So therefore I cannot understand you. She tells, I am just a woman. Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyah. She tells out of humility, O Krishna, only Paramahamsas can understand you. I am just a woman. Tatha Paramahamsanam, only unto the hearts of those advanced transcendentalists who are Muninam Amalatmanam, who are Munis, Amalatmana, who are pure in their heart. They can understand about you. I cannot understand. I am just a woman. Krishna can be understood only by the mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, we cannot understand Krishna by our own strength. Even if somebody can count the rays of the sun, the dust particles of the earth, the snowflakes on the south and north poles, still they cannot count the glories of Krishna. One can understand Krishna only by the mercy of Krishna. अथापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन्महिम्नो न चान्य एकोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन्. Only by a drop of the mercy of the Lord one can understand him. Otherwise, nobody can understand. Prabhupada writes he focuses on Katham Pashyam hi Striya. How can a woman like me can understand you? Prabhupada writes, women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers. Generally, it is seen that women, they are more emotional than rational. They are having more emotional intelligence than rational intelligence. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, they are not able to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord, because at once they can believe in the superiority of the Supreme Lord. They offer obeisances without reservation, and therefore he writes that for this reason it is found that women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious functions. That is a common observation. Women are more interested than men in every country. Prabhupada writes, in every country, in every sect of religion, women are more interested than men. Prabhupada writes, this simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than the showy, insincere religious fervor. So that's how nobody can tell, oh, Katham Pashyam Histri. Out of humility, Kunti Maharani is telling the prayers of Kunti Maharani, they are so great that the sages and the devotees, they are singing since then on, since 5,000 years, they are singing the prayers of Kunti Maharani. And then Kunti Maharani continues. She tells, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. She tells, she's giving a gradation of fortune. She's telling Vasudev is so very fortunate because you took birth. Vasudev, the father of Krishna. Devaki is even more fortunate. Krishnaya, then Vasudevaya. Oh Krishna, you are Vasudevaya. You are son of Vasudev. He is fortunate. More fortunate than Vasudev is Devaki Nandanaya cha. Devaki is even more fortunate because she kept you in her womb for 9 months. But even more fortunate than Devaki is Nanda. Nanda Gopa Kumaraya. And Nanda Maharaj is even more fortunate because he could see all the childhood pastimes of yours. And then she mentions about Yashoda also in the 31st verse. So therefore, in this verse, for the sake of confidentiality, Kunti Maharani did not mention about the gopis. For 3 reasons. Because because of the confidentiality, because the relationship of Krishna with the gopis is very esoteric, and she is feeling herself not qualified to taste that rasa. That's why she didn't mention about the gopis. So Yashoda and Nand Maharaj, they are so very fortunate that they could relish all the wonderful pastimes of Krishna till 11 years. It is said that Krishna, he finishes his Bal Leela or Kaumara Leela at the age of 3 years and the 4 months. Generally an ordinary child takes 5 years to complete Kumar age. Kumar means till 5 years. Then Pauganda means 6 to 10. And Kaishore means 11 to 15. Krishna, he completed Kaishore age at the 11 years. So Krishna grows faster. Kaumara Leela is more sweet than the Yauvan Leela. And the gopis, they could relish this Kaumara Leela. That's why gopis are considered most fortunate. Vrindavan is considered most fortunate. Prabhupada writes in the purport, there is no parallel to his childhood pastimes exhibited in Vrindavan. Vrindavanam sakhi bhuvo vitanoti kirtim yaddevaki sutapadam bhujalabda lakshmihi govinda venumanumatta mayura nrityam prekshadrisan vavaratanya samasta sattvam. Vrindavanam sakhi bhuvo. Vrindavan has increased the glory of earth because Vrindavan is marked with footprints of Krishna. That's how Vrindavan is increasing the glory of Mother Earth. Prabhupada writes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has confirmed that there is nobody more fortunate than Brajavasis. There is nobody more fortunate than the gopis. And then Kunti Maharani actually tells, they are fortunate. Vasudeva is fortunate, Devaki is fortunate, Yashoda Ma is fortunate, Nand Maharaj is fortunate. But I am also fortunate because I am able to see your beautiful form. Namaha Pankajanaabhaya, Namaha Pankajamaline, Namaha Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangrai. She offers obeisances to all the bodily parts of Krishna, comparing every part with lotus. Actually, 8 parts in Krishna's body is compared with lotus. Kaviraj Goswami describes Netra Nabhivadan Karayuga Charan Ei Ashta Padma Krishna Ange Karpura Lipta Kamala Tara Yaiche Parimala Sei Gandha Ashta Padma Ange. So netra, two eyes, nabhi, face, two hands, and two legs. Netra, nabhi, vadan, karyug, charan. These are the 8 parts which are compared to lotus. And there is a special fragrance which comes out from the bodily limbs of Krishna. What is that fragrance? Karpur lipt kamal. Lotus fragrance mixed with camphor. That is the fragrance which comes from the body of Krishna. So Kunti Maharani is telling, oh, I am also fortunate. I am able to see the beautiful form of Krishna. So Prabhupada writes, actually, there is very special thing which is going on here. She starts the beauty of Krishna from the navel. Namah Pankaj Nabhai. Ideally, when you take darshan, you start from the feet, right? Why she is starting from the navel? Because Kunti Maharani is aunt of Krishna, and she does not want to embarrass Krishna. That's why she does not start from the feet, because she is elderly, she's aunt, so she does not want to embarrass Krishna. So therefore, she starts first at the navel, and then in the end she goes to the feet. Namaste Pankajandhrai. And then she tells, actually, I am fortunate. I am more fortunate than Devaki. Why? You saved my sons. You didn't save the sons of Devaki. Yatha Rishikesh Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Sucharpita Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho Tvayeva nathena muhur vipadganat. O Rishikesh, O master of the senses, Khalena Devaki Kamsena. Kamsa, he imprisoned Devaki, he killed the sons of Devaki. Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho. You relieved Devaki, you relieved your mother, but you didn't save her sons. But you released me from this, so many dangers, and you released and protected my sons also. Tvayeva nathena muhur vipadganat. And then Chakravarti Thakur gives the elaborate list of reasons why she is telling that. She tells that, why you protected my sons and me and not the sons of Devaki? Because I was more afflicted. My karma was very bad. So therefore, she's telling, because I was suffering more, that's why you protected me first. I was suffering more than Devaki. And she tells that actually Devaki had a husband. Vasudeva was still alive. I had no husband also. So therefore you protected me. And you didn't protect her other sons because she got you as her son. And for me, I had only my children. So therefore you protected my children. She tells, actually, Devaki did not suffer because she got you as her son. And therefore, she was not in much distress, but I was in complete distress. I was wretched in all the ways. That's why you protected my sons and me. Prabhupada writes, the conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in a greater danger. So one should not feel that, oh, Krishna is, is Krishna aware of what is going on in my life? I'm suffering so much. So many problems are coming in my life. I'm trying to chant, I'm attending Mangal Aarti, I am taking care of the deities, I am serving devotees. Still, so many problems are coming. Is Krishna aware of my problems? Yes. Krishna is aware of everyone's problems individually. But many times, Krishna, he puts the devotees in certain situation where we can depend on him even more. It is very wonderful that Krishna always put Brajvasis in complete anxiety, so that Brajvasi's mood of dependence on Krishna, their eagerness may increase. You know. And then Kunti Maharani tells, how you protected, so many calamities came in our life. What all calamities came? She then counts. विशान महाग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनाद सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रत मृधे मृधेनेक महारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिता. She is recalling so many calamities. If any of this, one calamity comes in our life, our faith will get shaken. Bhima was about to be poisoned and killed. They were about to be burnt in the Lakshagraha. They had to face man-eating demons, Bakasur. Then Draupadi was about to be disrobed. Then they had to fight so many of the warriors in the battlefield. And then she says, just now you saved my grandson, was there in the womb of Uttara. So many problems came. She's reminding, oh, you protected us from all these problems. But then she tells some interesting prayer, which is beyond the imagination of ordinary devotee. She tells, please give me more problems. Itna kafi nahi, aur chahiye. I want more problems. Let the calamities come again and again. Vipada santuta shashwat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyada punar bhavadarshanam. Vipadah santutah sashwat. Very strong words. Shashwat. Let the calamities come again and again and again and again. Why? Bhavato darshanam yatsyad. When calamities will come, you will come to protect us. We'll get your darshan. Bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhavadarshanam, and we will not have to have the darshan, have the darshan of this material world. So devotees are eager to experience the utter dependence on Krishna. That is what Kunti Maharani is telling. This is a very, very exalted prayer which we cannot even pray many times. For us, for most of us, whatever problem is coming in our life, that is itself troubling us so much. What to speak of asking for more problems? But whenever impediments come, they are the impetus to intensify our Krishna consciousness. That's what Krishna wants us to do. When the problem comes in life, when the suffering comes, when the calamities come, we have to take utter shelter of Krishna. Prabhupada writes, therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us the opportunity to remember the Lord. A situation is favorable or unfavorable depending on whether that makes one remember Krishna or forget Krishna. If a particular situation is making us remember Krishna, that is a favorable, that is anukul. So therefore she is telling bhavato darshanam. Bhavadarshan will not happen. By bhavato darshan, bhavadarshan will not happen, will not see this material world. And then she tells that, oh my Lord, sorry. Actually, people in this world, they are so very eager to have the security in the form of wealth, in the form of high education, good birth. But actually the security of this world is actually danger. Janma Ishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edamanah Madah Puman Naivarhatya Vidhatum Vai Twama Kinchana Gochara. Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta and Shri. High birth, high education, Shruta, Shri, beauty and opulence. Edamana Madapuman. They intoxicate a person. and therefore the intoxicated person cannot approach you, oh my Lord, because you are akinchana gochara. You are approached only by those who are materially exhausted. What does that mean? Do you have to become poverty stricken to approach Krishna? No. We should not have the possessive mentality. We can have the possessions of the world, but we should not have the possessive mentality. And of all these four things, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shri, wealth, Shri is most intoxicating. That's what happened to Nalakuvar and Manikriv. They were intoxicated with the wealth. रुद्रस्यानुचरो भूत्वा सुदृप्तौ धनदात्मजौ कैलाशोपवने रम्ये मन्दाकिन्यो मदोत्कटो वारुणीं मदिरां पीत्वा मदा घूर्णितलोचनौ श्रीजनैरनुगायद्भिर्चेरतु पुष्पिते वने. They were associates of Lord Shiva. They were sons of Kuvera. So rich, filthy rich. They became so very proud. A proud person cannot attain Lord. Akinchana gochara means one should not have possessive mentality. Akinchana devotees, they don't have possessiveness towards matter. Prabhupada writes that the material advancement can increase the fever, material fever. And he says, Prabhupada writes, the helpless man can utterly pray for the mercy of Krishna. We don't have to be poverty stricken to pray to Krishna. It just depends on our consciousness. Even being a very wealthy person, we can be in a akinchana mood. Namo kinchana vittaya nivritta gunavrittaye atma ramaya shantaya kaivalya pataye namaha. Akinchana vittaya, you are the property of materially impoverished. Again, she is telling. Nivritta gunavritta, you are beyond all these material modes. You are Atmaram, you are self-satisfied, you are peaceful. Kaivalya pataye, you are the giver of liberation. Prabhupada writes, advancement of material vision is a great stumbling block in spiritual advancement. If somebody is interested in just material advancement, they cannot focus on spiritual advancement. Prabhupada writes, in the present context of material advancement, one uses lipstick at the cost of 50 cents. And there are so many unwanted things which are products of material conception of life. People are so very addicted to all the things which are not required at all. And then she tells, Manye tvam kalamishanam manadi nidhanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmithakkali. My Lord, you are eternal time. Manye, I consider you are the eternal time. You are anadi, you are without a beginning, you are without an end. And you are distributing your mercy to everyone. You are equal to everyone. You are not partial. You are not partial. But she tells, there is so much disagreement about you. Who will decide the truth about you if there is a disagreement? She tells, no one can decide. No one can understand about you. Naveda kasyat Bhagavan chikirshitam tavehamanasya nrinam vidambanam nayasya kasyat daitosti karhichit dveshyascha yasmin vishamamatirnrinam. She says, oh my Lord, Naved, are nobody can understand the pastimes of yours. How you act, why you act in certain ways, nobody can understand. You appear in the human form. This form appears to be human, but it is so very misleading. Because there is nobody who is dear to you and nobody who is, enemy for you. You are like sun. Sun is equal to everybody, shows his mercy on everyone, shines on every place. Sun may be helpful for one thing, and it seems that it is not so helpful for others. Thieves may blame sun. Arey, abhi, morning has come now. We cannot work. But sun is not partial. Sun is impartial. Similarly, you are also impartial to everybody. You are, showing mercy even to demons. Those who were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they also got liberated just by having darshan of Krishna while they were dying. That's how Krishna was so very wonderful. Some person would be shooting arrows towards Arjuna, and then they would see the beauty of Krishna. They would get mesmerized for some time, and they would forget that they are fighting. And in that time, Arjuna would shoot arrows and they would die. So they would die looking at the beautiful form of Krishna, and they would get delivered. तथैव चान्ये नरलोकवीरा यदा हवे कृष्णमुखारविन्दम् नेत्रे पिबन्त्यो नयनाभिरामं पार्थास्त्रपूता पद्मापुरस्य. That's the beauty of Krishna. He is never partial, But then she says, actually, although you're not partial to anyone, but your activities and your pastimes are so bewildering, so contradictory. Janma karma cha vishwatman ajasya karturatmanah tiryan rishishu yadashu tadatyanta vidambanam. Oh my Lord, you are the soul of the universe. Vishwatman, your janma, your karma, your birth, your activities, they are so very bewildering. Vidambanam means bewildering. So you appear in so many forms. Sometimes you appear in human form, sometimes in the animal form, in the hog form, in the bow, in the tortoise form. Yeah, these are all bewildering activities. That's why she says, that's why, I relish your pastimes. You are so very bewildering. And she tells, one time I went to Gokul. So this Damodar Leela, when this happened, Devaki was there in Gokul and she saw this Damodar Leela. So she is recalling this. She tells, Gopyada de tvai krita gasidam. Sorry, not Devaki. This Kunti Maharani was there in Gokul. She saw all this Damodar Leela. So now Kunti Maharani is remembering that. Gopyada de tvai krita gasidam tavat याते दशाश्रुकलिलाञ्जनसम्भ्रमाक्षं वक्त्रं निनीय भवभावनया स्थितस्य सा मां विमोहयतिभिरपि यद्बिभेति. She's telling, I saw that Yashoda Mai, she took a rope and she bound you because you committed an offense. You broke the pot of yogurt and you ran away. And as you were running away, Yashoda Mai caught you and she was binding you, and your eyes were full of tears, full of fear. Fear personified is fearful of you, and you are fearful of the stick of Mother Yashoda. And your head was low, Vaktram Niniya, with your head down, you are afraid. All these are bewildering me. So that's how, she's telling, first offense you did, you broke the pot of yogurt. And second offense, you ran out of the house. Yashoda Mai had to follow you. So generally, what would happen when Yashoda Mai, whenever, Krishna would make some mistake, Yashoda Mai would catch him and, Krishna would cry and, Yashoda Mai would wipe the tears of Krishna. This time it was not happening. Rudantam muhuranetra yugmam rijantam Karambhoja yugamena satanka netram rudantam. He's crying and he's thinking, Yashoda Mai is not wiping my tears. ठीक है, मेरे को ही पूछना पड़ेगा. Karambhoja yugamena, with both of his hands he is wiping his tears. So all this vision is seen by Kunti Maharani, and therefore she is getting bewildered. Prabhupada writes, this is a specific example of the Supreme Lord, how he becomes a plaything in the hands of his devotees. Gopis would tell Krishna, Krishna, if you dance, I'll give you sweet. Krishna would dance. If you sing for me, I'll give you butter. Krishna would sing. Gopi bhi stobito nrityat bhagwan balavat kvachit udgayati kuchin mugdas tadvasho daru yantra. Just like a wooden doll. Just like a doll, Krishna was under control of the gopis. Kunti Maharani is telling all these things are really bewildering. With all these wonderful pastimes, Prabhupada writes in the purport that with all these wonderful pastimes, he is declaring to the whole world that he comes under the control of his devotees. 10th canto describes, Evam sandarshita hi anga harina bhrityavasyata swavashena krishnena yasyedam saishwaram vashe. Hare Krishna is controlling entire universe and he comes under the control of his devotees. That is the beauty of Krishna. And then she is telling the various opinions about the birth of Krishna. Kechid ahurajam jatam. Some people say you are unborn. Some people say you took birth to glorify Yudhishthir Maharaj. Some people say you appeared to glorify Yadu. Yado priyasyan vavaye malayasyeva chandanam. You appear in the family as sandalwood appear in the Malaya Chandan hill. Some people say, Arey, you appeared because Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you. Apare Vasudevasya Devakyam Yachitobhyagat Ajastvamasya Shemaya Vadhaya Cha Suradvisham. Some people say you took birth to kill the demons. Some people say you appeared to glorify the devotees. And some people say you appeared in response to the prayers of Brahma. Bharavataranayaanye bhuvo nava iva udadau. Because the whole earth was overburdened. So Brahmaji prayed for you and that's why you appeared. And then she tells, no, all these are not the real reasons for your appearance. Now I will tell the real reason for your appearance. What is the real reason for appearance of Lord? Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma bhi shravana smaranarhani karishyaniti kechana. In this world, bhave asmin, in this material world, klishyamananam, conditioned souls are suffering. They are suffering from the material pangs of avidya, kam, karma. They are suffering because of the ignorance and they are suffering because of the desire to enjoy. Therefore, you appear in this world to rejuvenate the principles of devotional service. Shravana, Smarana, Arahani. The principles of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all these principles you appear to rejuvenate. This is the real reason for the appearance of the Lord. And destruction of the suffering of living entities is incidental. Oh, by chance, that is a byproduct. And then, she glorifies the potency of devotional service. Very beautiful verse again. Shrinvanti gayanti grinantyabhikshnasha smaranti nandanti tavehitam janah. Taeva pasyantyachirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. O Krishna, Shrinvanti, those who continuously hear, Gayanti, those who chant, Grinanti, those who apply. Grinanti means apply. Gayanti means preach. Grinanti means apply. Abhikshnashaha means continuously. Those who continuously sing, hear, preach, and apply. Smaranti nandanti, they remember and they become happy when others are doing it. You know what happens to them? Taeva pasyantyachirena tavakam. Very soon they also see your lotus feet. They will also see your lotus feet. Your lotus feet can take one across this ocean of material existence. So it is very interesting. We have to become happy when we see other devotees advancing in Krishna consciousness. Just by becoming happy when others are advancing, we also advance. We advance even more. But this is so very difficult to become happy in others' advancement. This is very, very difficult. But this is so very simple. Process is so very simple. You be happy. Oh, this devotee is advancing so much. You will also advance. First thing is Shravan, Shinvanti, And then after offering so many beautiful prayers, she tells, oh my Lord, you want to leave us now? Do you desire to leave us today? You want to go to Dwaraka? Krishna tells, yes, I have stayed for many days here now. I have some work to do in Dwaraka. Please allow me to go. Kunti tells, Array, all your work is done automatically. अप्यद्यनस्त्वं स्वकृते हित प्रभु अपने आप हो जाता है स्वकृते हित you don't have to personally go to do your work. It happens automatically. All your actions, all your work is done just by your desire. Why are you leaving us today? We are depending on your mercy. We have created so many enemies. We have killed so many of the kings. Their sons have become inimical. If you go now, how we will survive? We are completely dependent on you, O Krishna. You are going. Why are you leaving us? Pandavas, they were most fortunate because Krishna was there. They were depending on mercy of Krishna. And therefore, Kunti is telling, why are you going away? Krishna may tell, Arey, you have Bhima, you have Arjuna. They are so very powerful. Arey, they will protect you. They will protect the kingdom. They are sufficient. They are qualified. They have the capability to protect from all the kings. She tells, no. केवयं नाम रूपाभ्याम यदुभि सह पांडव भवतो दर्शनम यर्हि ऋषिकानामिवेशितु. Oh Krishna, all our name, all our fame, along with all the Pandavas, whatever we have, it is only because you are there. Bhavato darshanam yarhi. If you do not look upon us, all our name, fame, wealth, Pandavas, they are useless. It is just like if somebody has eyes but there is no sun. What is the use of eyes? If the soul is gone, then what is the use of the body? So it is very, very essential understanding which Kunti Maharani is giving. Whatever we have, whatever power, whatever strength, whatever knowledge, skills, capacity we have, it is given by Krishna. Prabhupada writes in the 14th chapter, where very beautiful verse comes. Prabhupada writes there, one should not be proud of the borrowed plumes. Everything is given by Krishna. Please don't be proud of it. And therefore she tells, if you are gone, everything will be gone. It will bring ill fortune. Neyam shobhishyate tatra yatha danim gadadhara tvatpadairankita bhati swalakshana vilakshitai. But if you leave us now, it will no longer be fortunate to stay here, O Krishna, because you are here. Entire Hastinapur is marked with your footprints. So one of the acharyas says, it seems that Krishna walks barefoot even in Hastinapur sometimes. That's why, the Hastinapur is also marked with the footprints of Krishna. And then she tells, actually, all our prosperity depends on you, my Lord. All our city and villages, they are flourishing because you are glancing over them. If you are gone, then all our prosperity, fame is gone. And then she's thinking, Arey, if you stay here, my other relatives will suffer. Because Yadus are also related to Kunti Maharani. So she's thinking, if you go, then we will suffer. Pandavas will suffer. If you stay, Yadus will suffer. I don't want all this family affection. अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेह पाशम इमं छिन्दी दृढ़ं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु. Therefore, please sever my ties of affection from all my kinsmen, for Pandavas and Vrishnis. Prabhupada writes in detail purport. Skin relation and the soul relation. She's telling, please cut off my relationship of skin. I want to connect to them on a level of soul. But the skin relation is troubling me. So therefore, please cut off all my relationships. And then Krishna may tell, okay, what do you want? You want to cut relationship with me also? I am also Vrishni. She is telling Riham Pandishu Vrishnishu. Krishna may tell her, I am also Vrishni. Do you want to cut relationship with me also? Do you want Brahman realization? What do you want? She tells, no. I want only one pointed attraction towards you. Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit ratimudvata madha gange vogham mudanvati. Just like Ganga flows towards ocean, I want my consciousness to be attracted towards you, O my Lord, only. Chakravarti Thakur writes a very beautiful purport. He says, just like river, Ganga holds nothing back. Nothing can hold back Ganga, and Ganga holds nothing back. With its entirety, Ganga merges in the ocean. Nothing can stop Ganga to merge in ocean. Similarly, a devotee holds nothing back. Everything, whatever he has, he offers to Krishna, and nothing can hold back a devotee. He wants to serve the Lord with all the capacity. And then after that, she summarizes the glories of Krishna by telling, Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishne Rishabhavane Druk Rajanyavam Sadhana Napavarga Viryaha Govinda Godvija Surarti Haravatara Yogeshwara Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. So she is calling various names of Krishna. O Krishna Sakha, friend of Arjuna, O the chief of Vrishnis, you are destroyer of all the cruel kings, you are Govinda, you are the controller of the cows, you are the possessor of all the mystic powers, I offer my obeisances. After hearing so many prayers from Kunti Maharani, what is the response of Krishna? He just smiles. That's all. The Lord's response is smile. And that smile is sufficient for a devotee. To see the Supreme Lord smile, that is a success. Many of the Prabhupada disciples, they also tell whatever services they would do, when they would come in front of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would just smile. That would be sufficient. So Lord also acknowledges and remunerates the services of his devotees with a smile. And now Krishna again, he was preparing to leave. Again Yudhishthir Maharaj comes. Nobody was able to stop Krishna, but Yudhishthir's love was so great. Yudhishthir came, requested Krishna, please stay for a few more months. Krishna stayed back. Because Yudhishthir was so very aggrieved, that I killed all my relatives. Nobody was able to pacify Yudhishthir. Vyasadyairishwareha gyai krishnena adbhuta karmana. Vyasadev, all the other sages, they were trying to pacify. Krishna himself was trying to pacify Yudhishthir. Nobody could pacify Yudhishthir. Krishnena adbhut karmana. That is the astonishing act of Krishna. What is the astonishing act of Krishna? He, as super soul, residing in the heart of Yudhishthir Maharaj, he did not allow Yudhishthir Maharaj to hear the words of Vyasadeva. Why? he wanted to glorify his devotee Bhishma. Yudhishthir was condemning himself. Oh, I was so very sinful. I am killer of my own relatives. Because of me, so many people were killed. What is the use of this body which is meant to serve others? I have killed so many people for this body. Even though I live for millions of years, I will not be able to atone for the sin. You know, I'm so very selfish. I'm doing everything for me. So in this way, he was lamenting. And Yudhishthir Maharaj was not be he was not able to hear to anybody. Nobody was able to pacify him. And then what happened, that we'll be discussing in the next class. This is the end of this chapter. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So anybody has any questions, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji, I can hear. Please continue.
Sorry. Prabhuji, you mentioned advancement in Krishna consciousness. We should feel happy when other devotees are advancing. So,
yes, Mataji, please continue. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes,
Haribol,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I can't hear you. Maybe it's my network. I don't know.
You can repeat your question, Mataji.
And Prabhuji, you mentioned that we should feel happy when other devotees are advancing. So I just wanted to know, what does advancement really mean? How, like?
Yeah. So if we see other devotees, getting more recognition, external level, what we see advancement, if somebody is getting more recognition, somebody is getting more responsibility, somebody is getting more respect and fame, he's being known in the devotee community as a wonderful devotee, and he's externally growing, it may seem that he is advancing, and that may be one of the parameters. And we may see other devotees who are so very serious in their Bhagavatam and in their chanting and in their services, very dedicated, humble. So if we see such devotees' advancements, we should be happy that, oh, Krishna is so very merciful to this devotee, that he is giving such mercy. And because of the mercy, this devotee is showing so many wonderful qualities, because that is what is the result of devotional service, as it is described. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. All the qualities of the devatas manifest in the character of a devotee. So naturally the devotees, they become the reservoir of good fortune, reservoir of all the qualities. So when we see some devotees manifesting such wonderful qualities, and on the external level they are getting lots of recognition, fame, they are able to do their services very efficiently, they are managing things properly. So it may seem, somebody may feel some insecurity, because in the outside world the consciousness is, if this person is going ahead and he's becoming number one, that means I cannot become number one. But in spiritual world it is not like that. This consciousness is very important, and we have to remind ourselves again and again that there may be many number one devotees in the spiritual world. Krishna may like all the devotees to the same extent. He can do so. When Krishna would go to the forest with all the gopas, there would be millions of gopas, and everybody would think, see, could see that Krishna is looking personally towards me. So therefore, because of our material consciousness, we think if this devotee is going ahead, then I will not be able to go to that position. If he is getting name, fame, and recognition, that means I am not such a wonderful devotee, I have lost it. It is said that this desire for name and fame, it is so very detrimental. It is just like nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction describes that prayas means endeavor, unnecessary endeavor. Sometimes we do endeavor for getting name and fame also, even in the devotee community. This is so very dangerous. Name and fame will come automatically for a devotee, but if we are doing our devotional practices to get name and fame, oh, I am recognized in devotee community as a very nice devotee, fixed up devotee, I should behave properly in the public so that devotees may understand that, oh, this person is a very great devotee. That is not a right consciousness for a devotee. So therefore, externally a devotee may grow as one passes years in our society. Externally a devotee may be given so many responsibilities, he may be given a position, but are we growing internally? That is more important. External, just like the foundation is not seen but the building is seen. As we spend years in Krishna consciousness in our ISKCON society, we may build a very huge building, but if we are not going deeper at the same time, if our foundation of sadhana, bhajan, kirtan, they are not so very strong and deep, if we are not humble enough, then our building will collapse. So therefore, in devotee community, there are chances that we may see devotees, other devotees flourishing externally. We should not become insecure, because Krishna has a plan for everyone. And Krishna, if we are sincere and serious enough, Krishna will empower everybody. And just the external success is not a parameter of advancement. Externally, somebody may be a good manager, singer, speaker, but internally, if the consciousness is not right, then these are just the skills. Managing is a skill, singing is a skill, speaking is a skill. Somebody may speak eloquently, he may be able to mesmerize people, but personally, if he is not following it and being humble enough, then that will not help him. So therefore, this is a very, very important thing in a devotee community, to understand the difference between external growth and internal growth. External growth is seen by everybody, and that's what attracts many times our attention. But internal growth is what is not seen by anybody. That is between you and Krishna. But that is more important. So that is what we have to work on. And of course, externally, if we are sufficiently strongly grounded, then for sure responsibilities will come. As Yoram Guru tells, that there are so many services hovering above you, just waiting when you will be qualified. And if we are qualified enough, then we'll get the service. But if we get the service, we have to remind ourselves that we should not become proud. That is what Brahmaji tells, praise to Supreme Lord in the second canto. Oh Lord, now I am going to do this huge service of creating the entire universe. I want two things. I should not become proud that I am making such a wonderful creation, and I should not become lazy. So these are the things which we have to be aware of. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
हरि बोल प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्ण।
Hare